Call to order. The city council regular meeting, December 12, 2024, 6:30 p.m.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And roll call, please.
Councilmember Becker?
Here.
Councilmember Howard?
Here.
Councilmember Flowey?
Here.
Councilmember Kangas?
Here.
Councilmember Dietz?
Here.
Councilmember Ganavate?
Here.
Mayor Ilmanen?
Present. Can we get a motion for approval of the agenda, please?
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against? All right, so before we get started, I guess I'm gonna have a couple of administrative notes. First of all, thank you to the public for coming out. It's appreciated. I honestly wish that we had more public here. I encourage the entire city to be here, to take part in our city government. What I would like to say is I would personally encourage public comment, using, your First Amendment right to stand there, petition government, speak freely. But I also would like to encourage you to use tact and candor. Nobody stood up there since I've been here to disregard or put down any council members. But let's remember why we're here. We're trying to make Negaunee what it is, what it's going to be. But tell your neighbors, come on out. We can fill more seats in here and make this far better meetings. The more people, the more we can do for the city, right? As far as the council goes, welcome to our 2 new council members. Welcome back, Dave. Welcome back, you 3. John, try to run things the same way it's been run for however long. However, with different positioning, different folks do things maybe a little bit different. We'll try to keep it a little more fluid instead of taking motions and seconding motions and everybody's gonna talk about it. Let's just talk. We'll have the motion. Who seconds the motion? If there is somebody else that wants to speak on that motion, by all means, let's utilize that time. And once we speak on that motion passes or gets declined, then we will move on from there, and that agenda item has come and gone, and we won't speak about that again. Council comments to me, to what we're supposed to do. It's not a complaint session, right? We're not here to call out city employees. We're not going to say somebody on the city staff or city council or a citizen of Negaunee is doing something wrong. By all means, it's your time to give your thoughts and your comments, but let's be kind, courteous, polite to what we're saying. Nate and I have talked a little bit. I brought up the training sessions. We're gonna have a training session in January, and I think it's useful, especially with new council members, that we do more of the training sessions that we want to do, and put forward some of that so we can all get an idea of how this works and get better at what we're doing for years to come. And then last but not least, what I've seen over my years here, we have city attorneys here. We can all utilize our attorney. And if we have questions, comments, concerns, by all means, let's use our attorney. Mike, I don't know if you've met everybody here, but this is, okay. So this is Mike, city attorney, and let's utilize him, and thank you for that, and let's move on. Next on the agenda, public comment, 3 minutes. Please come up to the podium, say your name, address, and 3-minute public comment, please.
Hi, my name is Kristen Wainio. I was born and raised here. I moved away and I moved back. One thing I want to, I'm really hoping that this get addressed tonight. when our election, we know who won. John Becker did not get his oath of office in on time by the deadline. I sent an email, I got emails back. I'm not really sure how this is going to happen. I hope you really can explain how and why this situation occurred. So the rules can be changed. That's what I'm seeing, that's what a lot of people are seeing. And if you bend the rules on this, you guys are gonna bend the rules every time. It's beneficial to you. Why even have a charter for the city if you don't follow it? Rules, I mean, where are the rules? He didn't get it in time. That's like, are you changing the rules now? I don't think it's a good look. I would really hope that a lot of people know, and I just want this to be addressed. It's rules for me, but not for thee. And I just really want this addressed. Thank you.
Kristen Beaumont, 307 West Clark Street. First, I want to congratulate the 2 new members of the council. It's exciting to see 2 women represent the city of Negaunee. The reason I am here standing before you today is to give written documentation, which I have right here, I'll pass out at the end, and present information on how the city manager allowed Cavisto Tree Services to do less work than the original bid stated for the same amount of money in the cemetery. Before I get into that though, I would like to say the city secretary and director of public works have been very helpful and transparent. I want to also acknowledge that I appreciate the city manager originally meeting with me and a few other individuals this summer to review the trees that were originally selected to be removed. So the bid for the cemetery tree removal was set for 4 large pines and stumps to be removed for $19K. During our summer meeting, we were told by the city manager and the DPW that it might even be possible to have them cut less trees and reduce the amount the city would owe, since this had already happened with the original bid because it was actually for 5 trees and stumps at $24K. To us, that sounded perfect. Less trees cut and less money for the taxpayers to pay, and also a good possibility for a new company, North Country Tree Service, to be hired in the future for yearly maintenance to give support to the city staff and to preserve trees. I tried to follow up and asked even to be a part of the meeting with Cavisto Tree Services when they were going to do work, but was told that wasn't possible. Fast forward to my recent emails with the city staff, only to find out Cavisto Tree Services performed less work than what was agreed on in the original bid, but were still paid the $19K. Again, the bid was for 4 large pines and 4 stumps. And what was done was 1 large pine, 3 small trees, and some brush removed. I researched the cost of tree removal by size and
1 minute left.
thank you, and of removing stumps would be extra. And what I found was that the work performed was less than half the amount of money that was actually paid. So basically, if we paid $19K, they really only performed about $9K worth of work. When I approached the city manager in the email in November, he actually said it was basically my fault because he was trying to accommodate what our group with the help of North Country Tree Services said. First of all, this isn't even true since we had no idea how the city manager was planning on negotiating with Cavisto. And also that it's a city manager's job to make sure a company fulfills the bid that was made. I also want to note that over the summer, the city manager said he would be presenting to the council the idea of hiring North Country Tree Service, to do future maintenance, but now is refusing to do so and is leaving it to a cemetery board that not only doesn't exist, he doesn't even have an update, on when this board will be filled. Thank you for your time, and I would like to hand out all this to everyone. So these are all the emails I've been going back and forth since July. I've printed them out for everyone, they're all stapled, and the original bid is on the front, so if you wanna pass it around, I have enough for everybody. And so I would just ask for people to review the emails and see for themselves.
Any more public comment? No, with that, we'll close public comment. Move on to unfinished business. No unfinished business. Number 7, new business. 7.1, mayor pro tem appointment.
wanted, if I may, making a motion for Kevin Flurry for Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay, we want to let, and you want to read?
Did we do that properly, Aaron?
I think he wanted me to read the background first, but that's up to the mayor.
Here, rewind.
All right, we'll have Ann read the background.
Per Charter 4.3, this is an elected position. Because there was only one candidate running for the position of mayor, an appointment needs to be made. Recommendation, appoint a council member as mayor pro tem.
Can I get a motion for the mayor pro tem appointment?
Make a motion for Kevin Flurry for Mayor Pro Tem.
Dayton,
I'll second that motion.
and a second. Comments, Dave?
Well, I know Kevin's been on other various boards and, you know, I've said this before, unlike me, Kevin's a numbers guy, he understands numbers. And that role right there is, it helps with my weak spots. So I think Kevin would be a nice fit and a good introduction to a higher level of, city government.
Amanda?
I agree with everything Dave said.
Any other comment? Sir? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All against? Moving on. 7.2, public participation plan. You want to take it from there?
Sure, Mr. Mayor and Council, the city has prepared a public participation plan based on our plan that we adopted some number of years ago in order to qualify for our RRC status. This review takes all the different goals and answers the question of we did what we say we were going to do. And if you look at, for example, this page here after the executive summary, this is just an example I'm going to talk about. It shows the different activities that we've engaged in for that objective, and then it gives an estimated amount of hours. And to be conservative, any meeting that we've had, I went with the standard 1 hour. Some meetings go over, obviously. Some meetings fall short a little bit of an hour, but that's a good conservative estimate for that. We've had a lot of different activities with our government. It's not just a matter of these type of meetings where people come to different boards or committees. It's also engagement through, for example, on this page, our Medina Public Library. People can engage their government in many ways. We have our senior center, that's part of the government, Parks and Rec, so on and so forth. So in the hexagon type shape here, this tells you how many hours this equates to here. And then in this little asterisk star looking shape thing, this shows you how many different unique engagement opportunities or interactions that the public had an opportunity to engage in. One of the important things about this report shows that we understand that people are busy. They have children, they have school life, they have work life, so on and so forth. They have other things they may want to do besides engage with their government. But we do afford that opportunity for them to engage based on our plan that we have. And we're giving them the opportunity more or less to engage their government on their terms when they feel comfortable, where they want to engage and how they want to engage. So this is a good analysis. We will be talking later in the year about bringing another organization that will help gather some additional community input, where we'll have to see if the council wants to go down that road. There'll be a suggestion by myself and staff, and this group will engage in a way where we're not necessarily fully involved, where people have more of an opportunity to speak more freely or candid if they like, finding out areas where there may be gaps that we're missing, or maybe we find out there are no gaps. We just don't know until we engage in that opportunity. And after that, I think we may want to see what the analysis of that report comes out to be. and then potentially make some new public participation plan goals, and go from there. One area that I will note on this plan, let me find the goal here real quick, is one that has to do with creating a PEG channel. And we try to get this information out as much as possible. A PEG channel is a public education access channel provided by Charter Communications. Charter only has one of those channels in the entire state of Michigan, and that's the city of Ishpeming that has that. They had that in a contract at one point. We had it in our contract as well, because anybody who comes in to have a franchise in the city has to have a contract with the city to operate in the city. But because the law was written the way it was written for telecommunications and for companies like Charter, they don't have to provide that channel if they want to. They can provide access to that channel, but they are not required to provide a channel. So we tried to negotiate when I first got here in 2018. The mayor and I and our attorneys went down to Lansing, if I recall correctly, met with them. We attempted to provide a survey after that meeting. Where over 300 people participated and said they'd like to see this access channel. And it wasn't just going to be for meetings like this, or the planning commission, or so on and so forth. It was also going to be made for other educational opportunities that may get information out to our residents on an array of different things. And we did successfully run a channel for a number of years. From a staff standpoint, I don't know how well utilized the channel was, to be honest. But the fact is, we don't have that channel, and we don't have access to that channel, nor will we get access to that channel. This is not going to be the case. We do, as an alternative, provide a recording for people to see, and that's just the best we can do at this time. I don't know whether it's necessary from a staff standpoint, which I would not recommend having a live feed. I don't know what benefit that provides, but obviously that's going to be the prerogative of the council. This isn't Congress or C-SPAN, and even then, folks can't be coming running down anyways and break through the doors of Congress to make things change anyhow. So the benefit of having a live feed, I don't know what the point of that would be. Other than that, you can read this for yourselves. If you have any questions from my office for any of this type of stuff here, you can feel free. We will be putting a press release out on this information next week. Generally speaking, this report is provided to you yearly by the Planning Commission, but a far truncated report than this. It just looks at, are we doing activities with our public participation plan, or are we not? But this is where it stands at this point, and this is from the years of 2019 to probably October of 2024. Mr. Mayor, that's all I have.
Do you want to place it on file?
We can just
Vote,
place
or-
that on file. I don't think we need to have it voted on. Yeah.
We can just place it on file.
So moving on.
Yes, unless there's any questions.
Questions, comments?
I may, Your Honor. So, you know, like the beginning of what you said is like, granted, we all have lives, you know, they take us in all different directions. Things can get crazy, I get it. But what this kind of shows is that there's hours of opportunities for the public to be engaged in to be involved in city government in the direction for which, you know, we may wanna go. So there's opportunity. So and I know that it's, yeah, okay, people just, okay, you don't go to council meetings, like, oh, okay, that's all you have. There's more opportunity than that, and I just hope that people would realize that and would look into it and take advantage of those opportunities. Because a lot of good information does come from different committee meetings, different boards, special, like little trail committee, that has kind of input into this, so it's important, but there's good stuff out there. I wish that more people would become involved and say, hey, I didn't know that, and it's like, instead of saying, well, we don't do nothing, well, we kind of do, so that's pretty much it.
Thank you. Any further comment?
I have a comment. I disagree that there's no benefit to having live meetings. I think that, I've heard from a lot of people that like the idea of watching live meetings, and it doesn't have to be at a great cost. You know, you can do YouTube Live for free, at no cost, and those live videos are available to viewers as well. And it makes it shareable on Facebook. You know, a lot of people use Facebook, and, you know, 20s all the way up to people in their 60s use Facebook, and I think that it would encourage a lot of people to get more involved if they can see it online. A lot of people live online now, you know, and also having, commenting, like reactivating the public comment, on Facebook posts and, on the YouTube, live, or, you know, afterwards on the recordings would be really beneficial and kind of give us an idea of, you know, the public opinion. I think it's a lot easier for people to get those things out than to, you know, online, than to come to a meeting. A lot of times people are working, you know, people work shift work, things like that, so it's hard for them to make it to a public meeting, but we can make it, really accessible and cheap to get public opinion online through comments, Facebook comments, emails, email surveys, things like that.
Comment on that? No. All right, are you? Any further comments? All right, we will move on. 7.3, boards and commission appointments. Leo?
Several boards and commissions of the city have member terms expiring on them. The following are mayoral appointments with council approval. The library board, one application was received from Sue Roberts. The planning commission, one application was received from Jeff Plummer. Parks and Rec Commission, 2 applications were received from Blake Becker and Ryan Morse.
Let's take a motion on
You
that.
can do one motion, you can make the motion and someone can second, and we can go from there. And then we'll do this one separate.
Can I get a motion for,
You'll make the
I'll
motion,
make
as
the
the mayor
okay,
appointments.
okay. I will make a motion to approve the appointments as read.
Support?
Supports. All in favor?
Aye.
All against?
Alright, motion passed. The following boards are appointments made by the council. Commission on Aging, one application was received from Kate Peterson. Zoning Board of Appeals, 2 applications were received, one from Toby Smith and one from Harold Ferguson. And for the NIWA Board, 1 application was received from Paul Rabadoni.
All right, can we get a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the nominations as read. Appointments as read.
Tracy? Tracy?
Okay.
Any comments? Any comment, Tracy? No? Any further comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
All opposed? Moving on, number 8, consent agenda. 8.1, minutes, November 14, 2024 minutes. 8.2, claims and accounts. 8.3, revenue expenditure estimated trial balances. 8.4, city depositories for 2025. 8.5, Act 152 resolution. 8.6, set meeting dates and times. 8.7, Nagani Ice Arena dates, rural prosperity, rural readiness. Need a motion?
Make a motion.
Support. John? Any comment?
No
No
comments.
comments on consent agenda?
For the fair bills?
All right.
I'm gonna do a roll
We're
call.
gonna do a roll call.
Yeah. Councilmember Beck, Councilmember Howard,
Yes.
Councilmember Flowey,
Yes.
Councilmember Kangas,
Yes.
Councilmember Dietz,
Yes.
Councilmember Ganavante,
Yes.
Councilmember Becker,
Yes.
Mayor Nolan.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
All right, public comment again. Number 9 on the agenda, public comment. Again, 3 minutes. Stand to state your name, address, and you have 3 minutes.
I'm Jeff Plummer, longtime Nagani resident. I want to thank the mayor and the council for my appointment to the planning commission. I look forward to serving the public, and I'll do my very best. Thank you very much.
Matt Lowe's, 307 West Clark Street. Just a quick introduction. I originally from northern Wisconsin, born and raised. Work background is originally in urban planning, cartography. Did a career in Chicago for a little bit in the private sector, and did a complete 180 and moved up here 9 years ago. And then working for a publicly owned grocery store in Marquette that I have a lot of experience working with the public and getting a sense of where they're at in this community. And so, from my perspective, I have a lot of conversations with customers and staff that work for me that relates to housing. And that was a big issue with this community in this past year that was contentious. And I think I've been trying to wrap my head around how to articulate, I guess, maybe the public side, because I feel like having worked in a field where you feel obligated to absorb public criticism, you're always under scrutiny. Everybody seemingly notices what's wrong, that it can get exhausting, and that you tune stuff out at a certain point. And you listen to yourself, your own managers, your consultants. To some degree, maybe that seeped in a little bit with the Old Town situation, because I do feel like my gut feeling is there were 3 buckets. There were people that are just cynical, that are in their 20s and 30s, and
1 minute left.
they feel like the housing market isn't working for them, that something's broken, and that they don't trust that just building something is going to somehow impact affordable housing. 2, people that have been here a long time that just treat Old Town as sacred land, and that they don't want to see it built. But the 3rd was, I think, really just, if anybody came in here kind of neutral or curious about how public circulated, that they basically witnessed, it didn't matter whether there was that room full or there were people out the door wanting to speak on behalf of protecting Old Town. Ultimately, they didn't feel like they were heard. And so I appreciate the effort that you're trying to connect with the public, that you're doing something, but I guess there's just trust that will, no matter how many people view it on YouTube or talk in front of you, are you really gonna take
Your
action to
time
listen?
is expired.
And that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Any further public comment?
Hi, Kristen Wayne again. again. Mayor Ilmanen and Councilmember Kangas, it was great how you guys said more people should come. More citizens should come. It would be great. It would be great that you guys would hear what people want in the city and what works for them and what doesn't. I went back on the city's Facebook page, a couple months, I mean, I could keep going back, but there is no listing of the meeting. Why won't you, more people would come, more people would be involved if you would be like, hey, on our Facebook, a lot of people look there, we're having a meeting, please come. You know, on the city website, I know you can't really like branch out with that, but your Facebook, a lot of people see your Facebook. And also, I grew up in Nagani and I grew up in Ishpeming, Marquette, Nagani. I just think that we would get more people in here and it would be a good thing. Thanks.
Any further public comment? All right. Moving on, council comment. I'm not going to go through the council as previous. Does any council member have a comment they'd like to share tonight? By all means. No council comment?
Are we allowed to ask questions?
More of the comment session. You can make a comment whilst asking the question, and if it's answered through city manager during his comment, then by all means.
Maybe I'll table that for not. I'll phrase it.
Kevin?
I just want to thank the board for appointing me mayor pro tem. I'd also like to welcome our new members and congratulate those who were appointed today. I also want to say that I thought that the DPW recently did a very good job when we got a lot of snow the other day. I noticed when I was leaving for that they were on top of it and clearing the streets and doing a good job. And last time, I'm just looking forward to this new role and continuing to serve.
Okay, now you. Any further council comment?
Well,
Go ahead, Matt.
it seems like we've had some controversial topics brought up by the public here tonight, and I hope everybody takes the time to look into them and make sure we know what we're looking at when we make these decisions. Also, I'd like to welcome the new members and, you know, thanks for coming. And I guess that's about it.
You. All right, Dave.
I'll be a broken record in that. I want to welcome the members of the council, and obviously I'm sitting at the better looking side of the council. No offense over there, but I just like to make mention of that, so, you always gotta suck up. But no, welcome and looking forward to, moving forward, and, let's just continue making Nagani the best it can be. That's about it.
Very good. Any further comment?
Might I want to say another thing?
Sure.
Okay, sorry, I'm new. Thank you so much, to everyone who voted for me, and I really am looking forward to, being on the team and making Nagani everything it can be in the next 3 years, yeah, congratulations Kevin, and congratulations Craig and Tracy and Dave and
Yourself.
thank you. And
You be
Yeah.
honest.
I'm excited. That's it.
Okay. All right, seeing nothing else, let's move on. Mr. City Manager.
Mr. Mayor and Council, the only thing I have is Saturday, December 14th, we'll have our Tinseltown celebration. As you can see, the community is getting ready for that event. You can also take a little jaunt down Rail Street, which has been turned into Gingerbread Lane if you'd like to, just to see that new display that we have up. Anybody who wants to be in the parade on Saturday, show up outside here on Tobin Street by the Senior Center probably about 6:15. It's supposed to be a little bit nicer out than it is today, so I just don't want you all standing out in the cold. Mr. Floyd, if you wanna ride one of the trucks, feel free, you know, you can do like you did last year. Other than that, that's all I have.
Thank you. City Attorney?
Hi, yes, briefly, I'm Attorney Mike Brink. I'm kind of filling in for your regular city attorney, Jeremy Pickens, who is my law partner. So thank you for having me here tonight. There was one thing that I did want to address that was brought up earlier in public comment regarding Mr. Becker's oath. And my partner, Mr. Pickens, provided a legal opinion that addressed that issue. That legal opinion was provided. I did have a chance to review the legal opinion, and I concur with the conclusion that was reached that Mr. Pickens reached, which was that Mr. Becker's oath is perfectly fine. The issue that came up during the analysis was that the state constitution says that it basically requires an oath before entering upon the duties of the office. So in other words, there is some conflict between what the state constitution says and what the charter says in this type of an instance. And so, the way the law works and what the law says is that, the state constitution essentially trumps and takes precedence over conflicting, charter, city charters like we're dealing with here. So, technically, in our opinion, our legal opinion is that, his oath, Mr. Becker's oath, would have been timely even before tonight's meeting, if it say happened an hour before, just before we sat down here. So, that's all I wanted to say.
All right, thank you, sir. With that, can I get a motion for adjournment, please?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed?